Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom, and with this one, we're doing it slightly differently for this episode of TOD Reads the News, as we're going to talk about the upcoming Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I wanted to give my full reaction to this, that's why I am on camera, and we will be looking at the trailer once we've gone through this article from Games Radar as well. So, as some of you may know, you can see I'm a bit of a Mass Effect fan. I have been since the first game. I pre-ordered it. I got 2 copies sent in the post. I sold one on to a friend of mine, and we've loved the Mass Effect series ever since. It's one of those games that, very much like Halo and Firefly to me, it's a franchise that you can just lose yourself in. You take from it what you want. You can just enjoy it on a surface level and not get too bogged down with the story and the world and everything else that's going on, or you can just dive deep and explore all of it. It's so expansive, and you really do get in, or you really do get out what you put in, I think, with this world particularly. The cast is incredible. It defined gaming for me. It was really the first action RPG with Mass Effect 2 that I played. Just mind-blowing. And I've always been more of a sci-fi fan than anything else. So, this news as a whole, having the trilogy tweaked, let's say, for the current and next-gen consoles, it's a great way of unifying the games, bringing everybody up to speed, and hopefully paving a way for the future in this new Mass Effect 5 that we know nothing about, but we have a feeling that it's going to incorporate everything from the original trilogy and the beloved characters, and some of the elements of Andromeda, which was fine. I mean, it was a good action game. It just wasn't a good Mass Effect game, and that's the difference that we need to make with it. But let's get into the article, then we'll get into the trailer. At some point I will probably give my feelings more on it as well. But as you can clearly tell, I am quite invested in this already. I have been for the last 14 years. It will probably be, I think they said May the 14th, it's being released this year. The Legendary Edition. That's probably almost within a month the 14th anniversary of Mass Effect 1. So it's quite a nice time, and it gives us something to look forward to. But enough of me rambling about stuff that you probably don't want to hear. Let's get into this article. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. 10 most interesting improvements and features coming to the remaster. As I said, this is on Games Radar. Link in the description if you want to check the article out yourself. Well, let's get in. If you're as ready as I am to jump into BioWare's Spacefaring trilogy, you'll surely want to know what shiny new enhancements and improvements are coming to the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. You're about to reunite or meet, if you're new to the series, Commander Shepard and the crew with polished and enhanced graphics, from the textures on Garrus's armour to the pores on Shepard's face. It's not all about the looks, though. You can expect to see gameplay improvements, a reworked and uplifted Mass Effect 1. That's what I'm really interested in. And a host of additions that make the experience of playing the trilogy more consistent across the board. We've gathered together all of the most notable and exciting tidbits of the recent peek at the Mass Effect Legendary Edition in action. So grab your N7 gear, pack your Saison Pro Mark IV toothbrush, as we prepare you for your upcoming journey on board the Normandy. Lovely art. I absolutely love this picture. If Chief's new armour for Infinite didn't look as good as it does in the art style, that would have probably been my desktop right now. But I love everything about this. Because I have a connection to all these characters, that obviously helps. But this really works for me. Uplifting Mass Effect 1, which still plays really well. Yes, the gameplay is outdated, but the story is so strong. I played it back in November again. My playthrough is up on the channel. There's a 3.5 hour supercut of my canon Mass Effect 1 that I've imported into 2. It's not perfect, but the characters, the story, it all just drives you through, and you don't pay attention to the graphics. But let's see what improvements they're making to it to make it more streamlined. Since the release of the first Mass Effect adventure, the team at BioWare has learned a lot from the development of Mass Effect 2 and 3, and it's bringing this knowledge back to the first game to make it more polished and consistent with the rest of the trilogy. While you can still expect to experience the original game as you remember it, a host of improvements have been added to give you a smoother experience overall. Improvements and enhancements include reworked cameras, a modernised combat HUD that's more consistent with 2 and 3, weapon balancing and tuning, aim assist, and plenty of graphical enhancements. Legendary Edition project director Mark Walters said, "All of the work done on Mass Effect 1 makes it feel like you're playing it for the first time again." Rework cameras, okay. Modernised combat HUD, okay. More consistent with 2 and 3, that's why they're doing this. Weapon balancing and tuning, aim assist, graphical enhancements, great. It doesn't sound like they've actually reworked how it plays. I'm probably wrong, but just making it smoother will be such a big difference, especially in the modern age. Making a more consistent experience. A lot of the work done to the original Mass Effect was done to bring it more in line with 2 and 3 and give you a more constant experience throughout the trilogy. With a more unified control scheme across all platforms, the Legendary Edition on PC will also now have controller support. That's pretty good. All of the content available in the Legendary Edition can also be accessed through a single launcher, so you can jump into all 3 games from the same place. That's very Halo Master Chief Collection, which now it's done, is incredible. It had a few teething problems, but the MCC really rejuvenated the feel for Halo, especially putting it all on PC. But that's what they're trying to do here with the 3 core Mass Effect games. This is all good so far. Exactly what I wanted to hear. Bringing everything in line and unifying it. Perfect. More character optimization options. Another way the team is trying to harmonise the experience of playing the trilogy is through character designs and customization options in all 3 games. Mass Effect in particular has vastly improved in terms of its visual upgrades, so your Shepard will look more consistent throughout the trilogy. The character creator has been expanded with more skin tones and hairstyles to choose from and make it more inclusive. All of the same options will be available in the whole trilogy, so you can keep the same look from one game to the next. Will there be better beards? That's what I care about. Character codes have been made available in Mass Effect, as well as 2 and 3. You may have already known the character codes let you import customized Shepards created by the community, so you can easily get the kind of look you wanted. The default FemShep look from Mass Effect 3 is now also available in the previous games. That's great. So you can sport the default look in every game. Shepard has been given some graphical enhancements, so you can see more fine details such as the pores and wrinkle lines. Yeah, sounds good. But this is all great, you know, being able to make the Shepard how you want him to look or her to look, and bringing in default FemShep is a great option. I've always played as male Shep just because that's my choice, but everybody does say the voice acting on FemShep is second to none. So it's great that you can from the word go, experience that. And if you want to play as default Femshep, brilliant, because it's a wonderful character design. Including all story content, but nothing new. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will include all story content. This means you'll have access to all 3 games and 40 DLC, including all additional story missions, promo weapons and armour, which will be available to you from the start. During a Q&A section of the preview, Walters was asked if any new content or previously extended content would be included in the Legendary Edition, to which the director confirmed that no additional content has been added. That's a shame. We all know that the ending to 3 could have done some extensive reworking, I personally feel, but single player experience is the focus. When the Legendary Edition was first announced in a BioWare blog, there was no mention of bringing back Mass Effect 3's multiplayer to its remastered release. During the Q&A, Walters was asked whether multiplayer was ever on the table. While it was considered, Walters compared the effort to bringing back the multiplayer to the work BioWare put into uplifting Mass Effect 1. While Walters expressed a love for the multiplayer, which is some of the best multiplayer I've played, there were concerns surrounding how to honour those still playing the multiplayer today, and how to bring those players back in, and how cross-play would work. The director explained that a line eventually had to be drawn, and the team decided to focus on the single-player experience. That's a shame, but I do understand it. Mass Effect is all about the single player. The multiplayer was bolted on. It wasn't a necessity, but it was so much fun. I didn't realise that you could still play it today, so that might be worth looking at. That's pretty cool. So it's a shame they're not including it, but I understand. Explore a visually improved galaxy. As a remaster of the trilogy, you can expect to experience the Mass Effect trilogy like never before, with upgraded, enhanced graphics to make the most of modern consoles. The Legendary Edition has been remastered for 4K and HDR and features 60 FPS support on Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, PS5 and the Series X, along with a high refresh rate on PC and 21:9 display. With a host of improved textures and character designs, you can see your favourite crewmates again in HD, with sharper and more polished looks to their classic styles. Yes, Garrus looks even better. Who would have thought that was possible? Okay, I'll stop. The writer of this obviously loves Garrus. Who doesn't love Garrus? Garrus is fucking cool. Improvements have also been made to the lighting, shaders and environments, so you'll be able to appreciate the views of the galaxy even more. It was never an ugly game. It was never the most beautiful either. But yeah, this is all good. This is all shaping up really nicely. Elevator skip. I should go. The elevators. Who can forget the time spent loading up a zone in an elevator ride in Mass Effect 1? I love those moments. The little news stories and the crew conversations. Alright, it slowed the game down, but they were a nice touch. As an alternative to your standard loading screens, Shepard would stand with your crewmates and listen to the classic hum of elevator music. Sometimes there'd be banter to make things more interesting too. The elevator sequences were particularly memorable thanks to how long they felt while you waited to get back into the action. It's very true. Loading times have vastly improved since the release of Mass Effect, so naturally you won't be stuck in an elevator for an overly long time in the Legendary Edition. As one of the many improvements made to the first Mass Effect adventure, elevator times are a lot faster. Despite the ire these elevator rides evoke from some, a lot of players have a soft spot for these loading sequences. I really do. Happily, BioWare is all about staying true to the original experience while making it more palatable for modern audiences. So to give the best of both worlds, the option to skip has been added so you can decide if you want to enjoy your time in the elevator or get back to playing as soon as possible. I'd probably still keep the elevators when I play it. They were great. They weren't great, they were terrible, but they had some nice moments. Makoing some improvements. Much like the elevators, the Mako transport tank also lives in infamy in the world of Mass Effect thanks to its clunky controls. It's god-awful to drive. Driving the Mako played a big part in the experience of Mass Effect as you explored planets and progressed through the story missions. BioWare is all too aware of the vehicle's reputation, and work has been done to adjust the Mako to give you a smoother experience as you traverse through worlds. Thank God. Extended cut. When the remaster was first announced, fans began to speculate if the extended cut endings would be included or changed for Mass Effect 3. BioWare team wanted to include as much content as possible as DLC and incorporate it into the experience. Such as, Walters confirmed the Legendary Edition will include the Mass Effect 3 Extended Cut Pack. That's good. Welcome to N7. BioWare also paid a lot of thought to those who never experienced the series before while it approached the remaster, as well as consulting with long-term players to see what improvements could be made. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition team got feedback from players who had never played the trilogy before to look at ways newcomers could be eased into the series by addressing issues in Mass Effect 1. For example, where it wasn't always clear where you had to go next to progress. That's not quite true. The experience and knowledge gained from working on Mass Effect 2 and 3 have also been brought forward to give everyone a better experience overall. Yeah, 2 and 3 were definitely much more streamlined than 1 was. Alright, so to break this down. They've unified the games. They've, as much as they could it sounds, without taking away from the game itself, they've brought Mass Effect 1 more in line with how 2 and 3 looks. Maybe not how it plays. I don't think there's going to be a huge change there. Which you'd need to completely remake 1 to get that, I think. It's such a drastic change between 1 and 2. But bringing them in line is great. Making it easier for people who have never experienced the game, it's probably a good thing. Well, it's definitely a good thing. But I don't think it's necessary, but I played this game when it first came out, so I am approaching it from a completely biased and totally different standpoint from someone who's never played it. Extended cut, it's great that we're getting all the DLC that was released and all the additional weapons and stuff. That's fantastic. I'm still sore about that ending for Mass Effect 3. But I think it's the ending that BioWare wanted, and if they're staying true to the vision they have for these games and the legacy that these games have created, I can understand and I'll allow it. I have only ever played Mass Effect 3 once. I am going to do it again before the remaster comes out so I can get an idea of how the old games played. But I don't know, Mass Effect 3 left a really bad taste in my mouth, personally. Just because of the ending. It plays really well, the story's excellent, and how it deals with the characters, phenomenal. It's just those last 10 minutes. It really damaged it for me. The Mako was hot garbage. As fun as it was to explore the planets, it was hot garbage. So anything that they can do to improve that experience is wonderful. Elevators, yeah, I've said my piece on that. Making them skippable is probably the best way around it, so yeah, great. I'd really like to know how much better this looks. There is a trailer that we're going to get to in a minute, but from what I've heard, this is all still being done in Unreal Engine 3, so there's probably only so far they can push it. Bearing in mind where What are we pushing? Unreal Engine 5 soon. And 4 was a big step up from 3. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't think that this is going to be the best looking game of all time. It's not about the looks for me. The design, the style, the characters, the story, all of it just merges together to create a beautiful world that you just want to spend time in. So I have no problems with that. I have no problems with how the games look now. If they can make them better, great. Hopefully it'll bring more people in. Single player focus, that's really what the games are about. As I say, the multiplayer would be nice, but who knows? I mean, you could even just do multiplayer as a completely separate download down the line, because there's a lot of love for it, I think. And you could easily just make a Mass Effect multiplayer. It's an option. Yeah, I mean, this is all good. I think that the work they've put in is going to be definitely worth it, and this game has such a special place in so many people's hearts. I can't wait to play this again. I love these games. I've played 1 and 2 more than any other game outside of the Halo franchise. I just love them. But let's take a look at the trailer now. Alright, let's take a look at the trailer for Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is the official reveal trailer. I'm getting ready for some feels, I'll be perfectly honest. Classic Mass Effect 2 shot. Omega. The Mass Effect games have some of the best music. Very too heavy. Oh, I love it. I love the neon. That looks really good. That looks really good as well. It's the lighting. Lovely Ara and Garrus. I thought they were all just so good. The lighting looks much better. Shep. This kind of makes me remember how good 3 was to play. Love it. Just love it. That didn't look great. Thresher Mars. Bloody Thresher Mars.
You were born to do this.
Oh, wow. I just love this series. I love the characters. I can't wait for this. I'm currently playing through Mass Effect 2. I will be following it on with Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda, I think. This is out in May, so there's plenty of time to burn through the games. But yeah, just... there's so much emotion in this for me. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. I hope you guys are looking forward to it too. Let me know what you think. Is the news that we're getting about this, and I'm guessing there'll be more before release, but is the news that we're getting about this as in depth as you were thinking the remake would be? Is the changes to Mass Effect 1 enough to make you want to pick it up again, or even play the series again? I know the ending of 3 burned a lot of people. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know your connection with the series. But that's it, yeah. I don't know. I love it. This game still has such a hold on me. Just can't wait. Can't wait to experience it, and hopefully for more people to experience it. And the conversation to come up again of Mass Effect and really bring it back into the popular eye, because it deserves it. I did a video on the teaser for the next Mass Effect. Hopefully we will start to hear more after this has been released, and how everything ties in. But this is definitely gearing up for the next game. I don't know how they're going to approach Andromeda. It probably looks okay. It wasn't an ugly game by any stretch of the imagination. But all of this just sounds like it's pulling everything together for the next big Mass Effect game. And I personally can't wait. Thank you for watching. See you next time.